Hey everybody, welcome back to another One More Podcast. I'm here with Blake, and we are here to answer some advice. But before we do that, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. I just want to let everyone know I fully understand that I have not been keeping to the schedule. Definitely the Tuesday-Friday thing has been a little more difficult for me to handle than I initially anticipated. So that's why I've come to the decision that we're actually going to be releasing podcasts today, so Wednesday. And so that's going to be the fully filmed, everything like that, and then just once a week. And so that will then allow me, because I do have a few projects that I want to work on, another open book, a few other kind of analytical pieces that I think that would be really interesting for just to put out there. So I think this would allow me to do the podcast, have it once a week, keep the consistency up, give you guys whatever you want. And then in regards to us talking and blabbing our ears off, and then moving forward, we'll see some new content and stuff like that in the future. So I really do appreciate everyone who's been bearing with me. Again, hopefully now, and I'll have it in the description, and I'll be updating this regularly. It's just Wednesdays is one video podcast, and then that'll be on YouTube, and then wherever else, iTunes, Google Music, wherever you get your other podcasts for audio versions. So without any other hesitation, thank you for joining me today, Blake. I know it was such a struggle to get you here, but it
actually took me like 30 to 45 minutes to get here. Traffic was horrible.
Hate traffic so much.
Traffic was awful on the
Oh
way
my
here,
gosh.
and it usually only takes me 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where'd you come up?
I just Josie to 121.
Yeah.
And it just took
forever.
Every light, I hit a train. I never hit trains.
Wow.
I hit a train and every single red light.
Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't stop.
That's really unfortunate. That's yeah. But guess who's got it worse? This person. This person's got a question. Well, I don't know if they got it worse, but dating women who have kids. Ooh. Hey Reddit, just wanted to ask some people over about dating women and children. Or dating women with children, not and children.
Red flag.
Red flag. Over the last year and a half or so, I found myself attracted to a couple women who already have kids. I didn't know that they had kids until I basically met them in person. But essentially, I've taken it as a sign I'm more interested in mature women who actually have jobs and careers, and so mostly to support their kids. Blah, 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 blah. So it's usually kind of turns me off, but it's strange that it's not. Growing up, I had a sister who was very close to my age, and none of my uncles ever had children, so I grew up pretty babyless. Due to my lack of experience, I feel kind of uncomfortable around kids and not just sure how to react genuinely. I've been talking to a girl recently, of course, blah, blah, blah. Let me know, what do I need to do? How do I figure this out? Any guys out there in the same boat as mine? And did you just end up getting used to it? Let me know. So, Blake, have you ever been attracted to women with kids?
Of course I have, but I've never gone through with any of it.
What was it, because they had kids or just outside factors?
One, they're like, I don't know, you've seen a mom before that is very attractive, but like I don't know, I don't want that burden.
Oh, okay, so you don't want to like come into being the hey dad or whatever?
No. That's because that would be something long term. And when I was single, that was not something that I was looking for at all.
Okay. So theoretically, let's say you haven't met your Brittany yet, and you're just moseying on life. You've kind of got the job thing down. You've got the prospects on, a house and whatever it is. So you feel like you're have that ability to, settle down. Let's, try it the long term with somebody. If they had kids, is that a deal breaker for you? Or
I don't know if it's a deal breaker, but I would definitely want to have my own.
Oh, for sure.
So I would,
for sure.
That would have to be a conversation that she would be down to
potentially. Okay, so then
yeah, this is great. I'll take your kid in, but
sure,
I'm gonna need my own little squirt running around.
Okay. No, I mean that makes sense. I think for me, it's just the idea of,
and he's got to be young enough to where
that's also true.
Could be that father figure that the kid needs.
Oh yeah, you're coming in like with a 13, 14-year-old.
Nuh-uh. I'm not doing that. Nope. 13 and 14-year-olds are already intolerable.
Yeah.
And just add the, hey, this guy's fucking my mom.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not going to go over well.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I think it's also just the starting a life with somebody. I think I've always, there's this kind of this appeal that it's like, getting a joint bank account and getting a house together and starting your kid and having kids and starting your life together and really like building the foundation to, essentially retirement with somebody else. And so it's kind of, at least because I don't think we've gone through it yet, it's like that's kind of the attraction. But then as soon as we do go through it, and let's say you go through, a 20-year marriage, and then you have a couple kids of your own, and then unfortunately, if you guys end up in a divorce, then it's like, well, what are you going to do now? You've got, however many old kids, and are you going to find someone who is starting their life, someone who's midlife, who's already right, exactly. So, so it might be definitely a different perspective in terms of what we're looking for.
Just know what you're getting into, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you feel uncomfortable around kids, chances are a brand new kid that probably won't like you to begin with is not going to help you get more accustomed to kids.
That's true.
So sometimes it takes your own flesh and blood in order for you to get comfortable with kids.
That's true.
And so unless you can flip the switch and this is now my son or my daughter, and I'm
I think that's like really hard.
I can imagine it's really fucking hard.
That's really difficult to just because it's that well, but then it's like what's the saying? What blood is the thicker than wine? I don't know. How does it go?
Blood is thicker than water?
No, I don't know. Something's thicker than family. Oh no, like family is thicker than blood. Is that how it goes? I don't know. Isn't there like the old mafia saying
though? Family is thicker than blood. That's a good one.
Right. So okay, maybe that's it.
We just started the new saying.
Well, sure. I guess family's thicker than blood.
I'm getting that tattooed.
Please don't.
Why?
I mean, where'd you tattoo it? Like on your arm or something?
Right across my forehead. Add to the collection.
There was a guy in my high school, and he said he's gonna, whenever he gets the money for it or whatever, he's gonna get like the American flag tattooed on his ass. So just like banking new right there, across the cheek to cheek.
So he's constantly
sea to shining cheek,
cheek to shining cheek. That's good.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, no. So it's like it's you definitely can associate. You can choose your. I don't know. You choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. Moral of the story, I think, if you really try hard enough, you can associate yourself with somebody, and you can definitely build to that relationship. But if you're Mr. Joe Blow trying to date someone, I don't know. Think about really what you want. Is it worth it? Where do you go from there? If you genuinely,
I would honestly assess the kid too. Like if the kid's a fucking spoiled brat because mom is off working and he doesn't have a dad or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out. The kid's gonna have to have some form of respect for authority,
right,
and some self-awareness to be able to come into my home, assuming my home, and live there. It's because I would do the same thing with my kid. You're gonna have to show some respect to the person that's paying for all your shit.
So depending on how the kid is, but it's like I feel kind of bad just for saying that, just because I mean. Why should you judge her as a person if this was the situation that she was in? Why should you say, oh, sorry, we can't date, I can't love you because your kid is not great? I don't know. I just think analyze the situation. If it is to the point where you can't handle it, then go with Blake and just dip out. But I think
don't put it like that. Don't put it like that.
Okay, so if I think if the kid is too much, which is I think is still a very valid point. And I guess that's just kind of the two sides of a different coin.
I think it's just being realistic though. Like if you can try to be altruistic and virtuous and say, no, I would help this kid out. I would help that mom out. Let's be real. Every person has a breaking point, and there's nothing that I can't stand more than a kid that's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially to a father figure. Mm-hmm. Like, it just pisses me off to no end.
Sure.
And I know that I'm not going to handle that very well. Okay. If some kid that I'm paying for out of honestly the goodness of my heart, because I could have said, no, I'm fucking out of here.
Right.
Is going to treat me like garbage. No.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. Anything else other than just if the kid's garbage, then
good luck to you, man.
Good luck.
Maybe find women that don't have
Well, yeah, that's true. You could also just try and find, because if you're young, I'm sure that there are equally young people trying to start a life with somebody.
Yeah, go to Uptown.
There you go. Uptown, even though this probably person doesn't live in Dallas, but that's fine.
There's an Uptown in every major city.
Oh, that's probably true. Yeah, I guess that's true. How do I get over hating somebody? So I know we kind of, I'm sure we've talked about this. I think we have in the last couple of podcasts. We've mentioned it, but I honestly, at this point, I can't remember. But I used to be friends with this girl over the past year. I've noticed that she's entitled, selfish, and horrible. The downside is that I live with her, soon to be moving out. I can't wait to never have to deal with her again, but I can't get over this hatred in the pit of my stomach. I can't stop milling over the things that she does, and I take them too personally, and it infuriates me. And my partner, who is sick of hearing it, just wants to let it go and not give a fuck. So how do you get over the? Oh, you know what we talked about? I remember. It's the should you forgive somebody, remember the hate, but then don't forget.
That's what was my mantra. Remember the hate, or. Well, yeah.
What was your mantra?
Remember the hate, forgive, but remember.
Right.
I think that's what it was.
Well, so then I guess to this point is you there's no really need for forgiveness. It's just clashing personalities.
Yeah.
And so if you just hate this person, how do you get over it? Or just are they allowed to hate him?
Just you're allowed to hate anybody. Just be an adult about it. Like, be a professional about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this is your roommate, you have an obligation to yourself and to your roommate to be respectful. Like, to yourself and to her.
Okay.
So, like, you can hate her and you cannot talk to her, but at some point, because you're living with her, you have to be professional and act like an adult.
But you don't think he's obligated to try and mend that bridge?
If you want to, you're not obligated.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, it's just... I like to not to say that like everyone has to love me and everyone has to like me, but I definitely think that if there's a situation where you can make amends and you can kind of learn more about yourself and how you deal with other people, I think it's definitely always a great thing to take that path. So if it's like, hey, this person, for whatever reason, I think your views are stupid, I think your personality is stupid, and I hate you for it. If this continues on back and forth, then I think you owe it to yourself to say, okay, well, why is this not working? Okay, yes, I agree. I don't like the color blue and she does, or I don't like, grass and she likes dirt. Whatever it is, why is that difference? Why is that difference in personalities? What am I trying to say? Why is that conflicting with you? So I don't know. I think if I wouldn't pass judgment if they didn't want to do anything, and if they just said, you know what, I hate you forever, goodbye, that's fine. But I think you can definitely grow as a person, like I said, and say, you know what, now for the next person that I may or may not hate, because that might be in the workplace, that might be at your...
Well, that's my point.
That might be somebody in your potential future family.
So, yeah, that's my point. You have to be an adult about it, and you can't be a kid that... I hate you, my dad's stronger than your dad kind of thing,
Right.
Like, you've got to be an adult about it, be respectful. And honestly, people are going to hate you and you're going to be hated for the rest of your life. There's nothing you can do about it. And so I don't see the necessity in trying to mend a bridge, because there are people that personality-wise, we don't match up at all. And we just naturally don't like each other, and I have no want or need to try to make that person connect with that person. Like, it's not in my cards. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm good.
Okay. No, I can't say, Blake, no, you have to be friends. Everyone has to love you.
But
well, that's not fair for me, because then I'll hate you, and then like this whole thing will just spin out of control. Okay. I don't know. I think because wouldn't if you dealing in middle school and high school, if there was a conflict or situation or somebody or whatever it is that you didn't agree with or you didn't enjoy, or like you came out with the short end of the stick, wouldn't it benefit you, or wouldn't you find it beneficial if you could go back and like look at it and really say, okay, here's a frame by frame play of what happened, how did I respond? Wouldn't you find that beneficial to say, okay, how can I apply that to the next thing in the future?
I don't know. We were pretty simple in our problem solving tactics in middle school and high school. It was very much meet out somewhere and
beat each other up.
Yeah. So you can. I could be Captain Hindsight and look back and say, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done this. I probably.
But you don't think it's very as valuable as I think it is? I guess
probably not. No.
Okay. I don't know. I just because and honestly, and this it can kind of relate to something I've recently experienced. I think there is a huge difference between attacking somebody and then expressing yourself and trying to open up and explain the situation. I think those are at surface level, those are two different things, right, Blake? Right?
Sure.
Attacking someone versus expressing yourself and explaining a situation. Sure. But I think they, in regular conversation with friends, family, whatever it is, I think they can be mixed up very easily. And I think it all matters with intent. How much you're willing to admit that you're wrong, and how much are you willing to see the other perspective. And so I think when I'm going blah 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 blah, Blake, you're a dummy head because you forgot my birthday or whatever. Okay,
I told you I was sorry.
And you know what? We don't have to have the conversation right now, but you're going to perceive that as attacking because I'm saying you're a dummy head and I'm making you feel bad for forgetting my birthday. Whereas with me, my head, I'm not like trying to attack you. I'm just expressing myself and I'm saying, hey, Blake, I don't appreciate the fact that you forgot my birthday. Sure, I could have worded it differently. Sure, you could have done something differently. Sure, there's a lot of different variables that could have happened. There's a million different infinity possibilities. But if I was able to, say, you know what, Blake, I'm sorry. Let's take a step back. Let me restart what I'm saying. I think that's important. So, going back on past conversations instead of just dragging something up and saying, oh God, why do we have to talk about this again? Really figure out, okay, well, what's the problem here? What's the main issue here? So I don't know. Conflict resolution is important.
How about this? If you want to build bridge, you can, but don't expect anything in return.
That's true. Yeah, definitely. That's a great point, Blake. The expectation of what you're going to get out of it, and if you're expecting them to forgive or apologize or whatever it is, I don't think that's very fair. I think, Blake, you've got it right with you're putting your hand out and you're giving. That's it. You're not taking. You're not going to say.
There was one quote. It was like, "Don't feed a lion if you're not prepared to lose a hand for it." Or
that's fair.
Don't expect to feed a lion without losing a hand.
Yeah, that's definitely totally applicable here. I think as long as you're aware of what's happening and what's going on, you don't have some kind of unrealistic expectation, then I think that's fair as well. Some weird advice.
Okay.
So
came to the right place.
Yeah, right. So I'm a closeted cross-dresser. I don't know how to fix this, and I'm pretty sure my aunt has caught me before. What do I do? Have you ever had a family member that found out a secret embarrassing thing? Well, I don't even know if it's embarrassing, but just a secret.
That's embarrassing.
I mean, good for this person. No, you know what? Hold on. Let's not shame this person. Good for you for cross-dressing. Have family ever discovered a secret?
No, I'm pretty private with that kind of stuff. Whenever I cross-dress,
you put a sign at your door saying, "Don't come in. I'm not cross-dressing."
I put a sock on the door, and everyone knows Blake's up to something in there.
So then, what do you do when the secret's out, though? Contact the person directly?
Sure. Yeah. Just, hey, this is my thing. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell anybody else. I'm not ready to come out as a closet cross-dresser.
Sure.
And I really appreciate it. And at that point, it's out of your hands. But then again, you go risking. Maybe your aunt doesn't know, and you just came out as a closet cross-dresser.
That's very true. Yeah. Gosh. Well, okay. So either you're secret about it and you just keep it low key and make sure hopefully no one understands or catches you, or
I just wouldn't say anything until I'm ready to come out.
That's true. Yeah. I mean,
until you're just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
If the aunt knows.
Sure. I mean, you're not hurting anyone and you're not like doing anything crazy. So like, I don't think you should feel that's, you know what? Hold on. If you do something in your spare time and it's not illegal and it's not like just, if it's not illegal, don't be ashamed about it. I think there are plenty of things that people do in this world that, they're afraid of other people knowing, or, oh no, you don't tell the Bobby because Bobby's going to think I'm a slut now or something. I don't know. Like it's just, don't have that. I think there are a lot of things in this world that as each human being, And you know how I love talking about global issues. Each human being is a unique individual, and we have different brains, and our minds work in different ways. So if you find cross-dressing enjoying, if you find dancing in a tutu upside down in a pool fun, then...
You see, but I remember watching this one special on TLC, though.
Yeah?
The Learning Channel.
Was it about the eating sofas?
No, it's not. That's another one we can touch on in a second.
My Secret Addiction or something?
It's like baby people. You ever seen that?
Oh, where they dress up as babies and they want to be babied and stuff?
Not illegal.
Right.
But I don't want to fucking hear it.
Oh, okay, yes. All right, fine. To a certain extent, there are things that you probably could do, and things that you... Okay. Yes, should and shouldn't are... That is a conversation all on its own. I guess it's the expressing it to your friends and being open about it. Hey, I mean, if you're surrounded by a bunch of baby people and
then feel free.
Then go for it. If you found yourself a group or something.
But if you are a closet baby dresser... Please don't come out to me.
Blake, I have to tell you something. I'm a closet young adult dresser.
Man.
I know. I'm sorry. I was holding on to that for a really long time.
Gosh, I saw signs.
Like ever since
I
was like,
didn't think like you would.
Ever since I was 12, I was dressing like a 20-year-old. But like now that I'm 20, I'm probably right to come out. You know.
You know, man. I support you. I love you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If you need me to help you tell your parents, I can.
You will? Wow, that's really...
I'll be out there.
Will we do like a skit or something? This is how a normal person dress. And then you like walk through and then, this is how I dress. And it's the exact same... Oh! Okay, here's a quick one. I wear glasses. How do I kiss? Hi, I wear glasses. Never had a first kiss. I was wondering how I should do it. Do I always have to take them off or only if the girl has glasses too? Or will it work just as well when kissing when both of us has glasses? Please help. Just take off your glasses. That's it. If you're doing literally anything that involves moving your face towards someone else's face, just take off your glasses. It's because I'm kind of blind, so it's like, you know,
you wear glasses, so I'm gonna stay out of this.
That's true. Yeah, Blake, how dare you try and provide input on something that you've no knowledge of? Gosh, no. It's if you because especially depending on how blind you are. Because for me, I can see outlines and stuff like that when I have my glasses off. So like if I'm trying to kiss someone or if I'm being intimate with someone, you know, I'm gonna be able to see their face. Will it be in super pretty high def 1080p fancy 4K vision? No, definitely not. But it's still to a point where you know you can do it. So
I think you just look like Minecraft when you don't have your
Yep, exactly. It's exactly like Minecraft. So I think if you're like passionately kissing, maybe it'll help with taking your glasses off. But no, I mean I've kissed before with my glasses on. So if this is going to be like the stereotypical high school 80s movie where it's like, oh gosh, Johnny, I've got to ask Sarah to the prom, and then you're like, okay, Billy, I'll help you.
Take on Me by Aha is playing.
Exactly. And then I've got just the boombox or whatever, just like Sarah, and then she's like, what? I'm like,
I always imagine like taking a girl's glasses off, but then she like goes cross-eyed like, before I'm about to kiss her. And it's like, oh, we're just gonna.
No, it's just you take the glasses off and she just turns into somebody else, just like a camera cut, and it's just immediately somebody else. You
7-year-old
on. So, God. But yeah, no, glasses are fine. I think you'll. The issue I have is like I'm so jealous of you, Blake, that you're able to like lay down and just like watch TV with like without having to take your glasses off. Because I mean, with these specifically, they're a little more flexible, which is nice. But before, when I had just like the plastic or whatever metallic glasses and stuff like that, it was just like really uncomfortable to lie down. So like I had to have the phone up to my face and stuff like that when I'm watching videos in bed or whatever. Ooh. Is it still worth helping vulnerable individuals? Hi, everyone. A little backstory. I volunteer at a homeless shelter run by Salvation Army. I'm not a huge fan of Salvation Army, given that they lobby against gay rights and that they ultimately are an organization that registers itself as a church. I originally started volunteering there as a need to accrue volunteer hours for my CV, or resume. I intended to make it a long-term commitment to help market my abilities to commit to something I believe in. I help feed and take care of the homeless, yet I feel conflicted volunteering there. Nothing I do supports Salvation Army, and most of the employees and volunteers there are not Christians devout to Salvation Army. Yet I feel as though I'm intertwined in something that is against my personal beliefs. If I'm helping the homeless and not contributing to Salvation Army in any way, do I continue volunteering? Does this issue ever cross the line over my personal beliefs about the Salvation Army?
Okay, so this
So,
person.
so today I learned that there's a guy out there who doesn't believe in the parent company, but still wants to help people and use the parent company as a means to help people. So is that okay?
Probably, right?
Even so, like, okay, let's make it a little more of an extreme example. Let's say the KKK has a food drive every
kitchen.
Sunday, has a soup kitchen every Sunday for white people.
Hey,
I mean, if you're helping the homeless and all that kind of stuff, is that still okay?
yeah. Like,
Okay.
ethically, you can't. It would be wrong of you to stop that.
Sure, that's true. Because
Like-
if they're providing food
Yeah.
and stuff like that,
Providing
charitable
help,
services.
Yeah.
I agree. I think to a certain, and I guess you can kind of use the same argument about taking away between the artist and the art. So it's like, just because the artist is a crap human being, or just because this person is a horrible human being, does that mean that their art is any less important? Or
Right.
let's say someone goes on some super long narrative about how there's inequality in America, and it's this heartfelt speech, and it's this very passionate, there's facts and there's truth, and there's so much in there that, like, it's this overwhelming speech that has a very positive message. Okay, so take the speech, but then the guy who wrote it is found out to, like, run over 8 million people because
And let's just say he's Michael Moore.
Sure,
Just say that
whatever.
Because that's Michael Moore.
Sure, whatever. So does that take away from the speech at all? Does that take away from the significance or the points or or I mean, I guess short and sweet, the opinions in there? So does
You should be able to separate facts from the speaker,
Mhm.
or in this case, the act from the business.
from Salvation Army? Yeah.
Right, but you have to understand. Ooh.
What?
I was just thinking, like, so for example, let's say Kevin Spacey did a food drive.
Oh my gosh.
Or
Right.
whatever.
So
He
well,
did a food drive, and he was helping a lot of people, a lot of homeless people.
well, okay, hold on. I think I got it. The distinction there, though, is because we're putting up someone who has done something that's illegal versus something that you don't agree with the company, with the morality wise. I think
Okay.
maybe like a better example is the Trump administration is putting on a food drive. So if you're
Or
a
let's
super,
say the NRA is putting on a food
or
drive.
the NRA if putting on a
that'll
food
make
drive.
sense.
I mean, it makes sense either way. So
Yeah, but when you have Trump involved, there's some.
You're right. Sorry, I shouldn't mention the T word. Actually, real quick, side note. I thought it was really funny. Well, funny, but like kind of cringe a little bit. On Facebook, I saw this ad for this new T-shirt. Like, this company was like, "Hey, check out our new T-shirt. It's like super hip and cool." And so I saw the picture of the shirt, and it was LGBT, but it was it was something about liquor or something like that. Liquor, guns, beard, Trump, or something like that. I forget what it is. So this whole entire time you have this comment section of this ad saying, "This is disgusting. This is how dare you
yeah.
make fun of the LGBT."
Oh, yeah.
And then there was like, okay, I understand that you are totally allowed to have your views and opinions on things, but when I saw this one post about this woman who was wearing the shirt and took a selfie and made a post about it, she's like, "I love this shirt. Libtards are stupid, and they are I made a guy mad today because
man.
he saw my shirt and told me that was ignorant. And haha, he's a stupid libtard." Like, that kind of post where I'm like, okay, I don't think you're getting the point of either side. I think you just think it's funny to make people angry.
Yeah,
which
she likes to trigger liberals,
right,
which in fairness is very easy to do.
Sure, and I don't want to get into that argument necessarily, but
But yes, she's completely on her level of understanding, and there's
Sure.
nothing that can take her down from that. So yeah, I don't know, that T-shirt would be really funny.
yeah.
I remember I was in DC with my buddy. We were going to see a Washington Nationals game, and it was right before the election, and there were guys on the street selling shirts that said like Hillary for prison 2016 or whatever, and then there was another one that said Hillary sucks but not as much as Monica. And I started cracking up at that shirt.
Sure. And I mean, there's to a point where it's a joke and it's funny, it's haha and stuff like that, but totally off of what the original question was. But
Yes. No, that's a company that is doing good for other people.
just because you don't
have
agree.
You have an ethical and moral obligation to either help out or not get in the way of them helping out.
Yeah, well said. So, I'm trying to think if there's really anything else that we could include. I don't know, as long as they're not like making you do stuff that you don't like. Like if the Salvation Army then contacted you directly saying, we need you to protest gay people or whatever, then you can obviously make the distinction there. But I mean, if they're just saying, hey, help poor people, then help, go for it. I think the greater cause is, or the greater good is trumping the cause, or I guess the underlying badness, quote unquote, however you want to believe, the Salvation Army works. Let's see. We're actually going to take a quick break. Aw, that's really horrible, Blake. That's super bad. But
Was I supposed to leave that bird to die?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Why?
Because you just made a little girl witness a bird's death.
So? That's up to her parents. She sees worse stuff on TV. She sees people die on TV.
That's not true. She could be watching SpongeBob all day. You don't know her. You don't know her life.
CDs get destroyed in SpongeBob. We see that all the time. We see explosions.
So you're saying SpongeBob desensitizes children to destruction and pain
Absolutely.
And death? You're right. On the record. Blake is on the record that he thinks SpongeBob desensitizes children.
No.
Clarification, no. Asterisk, no. All right, and we're back. We have one on advice on my sleeping habits. I hate the word so much.
Stop saying it.
Well, it's just when you say it and then you think about it and then you hear it and then you say it
once you listen for it, you hear it
I
so
hate
often.
it so much. I will say you see I just say again. My speech since high school has improved greatly because I remember specifically in 9th grade, we were going through our speech class. I guess you'd call it. It's like a speech sort of.
We just all call it speech. We knew exactly what it was.
Right. So, the teacher was like, "Hey, let's do speeches." But when we do speeches, I'm going to do a lot of buzzing sound every time you do the word And so it's really funny because you have a lot of people who are well versed and they can properly form sentences and they can speak at a regular rate without having to think about it. And so you have other people who are like not good at that for lack of a better term.
Not sentence is good.
They do not sentences good out of their mouth. That's for sure. So it was really funny that there was this one girl, and so I forget what the speech was. I just know it was like the girl, and so it was really funny because every time he'd be like, stop, I hear you, and like because it's when you get tripped up, you start tripping up even more, and so as soon as because you have a flow, you have to talk for like 5 minutes and then continue to do your thing, but then as soon as you get interrupted, you're like, wait a second,
damn it,
whoops, all right, does not compute. So, but then after that, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I can't stand it when girls say like.
Really?
That's probably my
what bugs
biggest speech pet peeve. Because whenever I'm hanging around Brittany's girlfriends, it's just
that's like half the sentence.
Bro, it sounds like a bunch of birds, like a bunch of chickens.
Sure.
Just like I can't. Oh
no, I agree. I think it's especially when I was during that class, you were very aware of it. So then, it just annoys you. Or, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't annoy you. I think that's definitely something someone can, get from, I guess. So if that's what a pet peeve, being self-aware of it. So I don't know. I'm just kind of talking in circles.
I think that's why I'm fascinated by speakers though. Like that's why I can listen to speakers on YouTube or whenever, because their flow is
for sure
something brilliant to watch.
For
These
sure,
guys have it nailed down to a science. They know exactly how to do it.
Yeah, JFK is a sexy man.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
A great speaker, apparently.
All right. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. So I was gonna try and find a speech that I did in high school, but it's not a speech necessarily. It's more of a rhetorical analysis over one of JFK's speeches. So it was a thing where we were writing and we analyzed it, what tools, devices, blah, 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 whatever. And then we also saw him actually do it live, which was really nice to do that, to see him, because I think JFK is a very well presented, he's made for TV. So
he was, yeah.
The point I was trying to make at, and what for a very, very long time in my high school was a very close inside joke that only weirdos knew, was my entire speech, or my entire essay was just like totally praising JFK. I was like, JFK is a sexy man. He speaks with the passion of 1,000 burning suns and stuff like that. And just like the way he fights back, the evildoers. They're definitely for sure 100%. You like find the people who were in my English class that year, and the crazy, like I had, I think it was something about Mormons and the UPS or something like that. I don't. Oh, okay, no, hold on. It was such a good line. I'll have to look for it. But it went something like the USPS is as dead as like Mormons or something. Or okay. I think it was the USP, because we were talking about like the postal service and stuff like that. And the actual US Postal Service, and like this was in the transition time when I know they weren't delivering on Sundays or something like that. Now they are, but whatever. So this is a transition time. So obviously there's a lot of reformation and restructuring that the USPS had to go through. So we were doing a rhetorical analysis on this piece. But anyways. So I made some one-liner joke or something like that. 'Cause I threw jokes into my written. Yeah, I really did. Like, and honestly, I probably could get like B's to A's and stuff like that, but I purposely took the downgrade. Yeah, I was like, I know my teacher's not gonna like this, but she might like it, so whatever. So I said something about like the USPS are as dead as the Jews that the Mormons are trying to baptize or something like that. And because I read an article about like how Mormons actually like will baptize dead Jews so that they can get into heaven. So I was just like, so I was like, this is totally a topical and well.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So it was like I got the paper back and it's just a huge circle and just what? So yeah, no, I definitely. My essay was a prime example of what not to do on the AP test. So
the AP test?
Yeah. No, I didn't write it like that on the AP test. No.
What are you doing?
No. I'm pretty sure I passed the AP test. But yeah, right? Hot shot here, humble brag. But yeah, no, during class it was definitely like, let's just write things to be provocative and stuff like that. So, which I don't know. I thought it was fun. It's high school. Like, if you can still make an okay grade and like have fun with it, then like why not? Like enjoy.
That's fair, yeah.
Enjoy the simple things in life.
I tried to do that in college, and it wasn't a bad move, but like my professor, I knew I'd crush this essay anyway.
Oh yeah.
And so there were just a couple of moments where I just kind of
sprinkled
in a metaphor or a simile just to spice up the paper, because I think it was about the white and black achievement gap.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice.
So I felt it's very heavy-handed anyway.
Sure.
So let's just throw in a little...
Yeah, why not? Let's just do it. Who cares? It's okay. It's totally fine. Yeah, no, I think... I will say I think that I'll have to find it, and honestly, I'll just read... I'll just go through my essay and just cut out all the, like, not... Like, the actual serious stuff, and then just do the jokes. You have to
speak it in the way that JFK spoke.
JFK is a sexy man. Is that no? That's a little Martin Luther. That was like Martin Luther King Jr.
God, was that Andrew
I
Jackson?
have a dream. No, I'm definitely cutting out all those parts. Anyways, over the past month of college, my sleep schedule has been absolutely destroyed. I have only slept more than 6 hours one night this week, and have only gotten about 5 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. I'm asking for insights/perspectives on other people's sleeping habits because I felt relatively unaffected by this unhealthy sleeping habit, and I'm curious in what other people have experienced. Sometimes the sleep inertia can be rough upon waking up from short naps, but it's never noticeably worse than waking up after getting a healthy 8 hours. I usually find that once I'm awake, whether it be off for 30 minutes or 10 hours of sleep, I'm fairly with it and able to stay awake all day without getting grumpy or needing a nap. Is gaining resistance to sleep deprivation a thing? Real quick before you answer, Blake, I'm going to say no, because you are entering what is commonly referred to as, I think, like the Leonardo sleep cycle or something like that. Have you heard of this, Blake?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so essentially, I think it's like the Leonardo or insert some famous thinker or inventor or something in the Renaissance era, because essentially what happens is you're training just like with keto, how you're training your body to target fats, and eating low carbs, you need a different way for nutrients.
Right.
What you can do now here's a short intro of how you need to sleep. You essentially sleep for like maybe 2 to 3 hours every 8 hours or so. And so the idea behind that, though, is because of how you essentially sleep, right? So your brain goes in intervals of being in deep sleep, and then not deep sleep, and then deep sleep, and then whatever, and then REM, and then not, and it kind of cycles in and out, and you're only in it for like 15 minutes or whatever, and then you are out of it, and then you're back into it. So the idea is, use this time so that as soon as your head hits the pillow, you're asleep, you're immediately in REM cycle, you're getting the much needed body rejuvenation, that healthy restoration, and so then once you're up after only a couple hours, you feel like you've just had this fresh night's sleep, because you immediately get that heavy cycle sleep. And so you do that like every 8 hours or so. So then you sleep, and then you're only sleeping like maybe, I think the objective is maybe like 3 to 6 hours a day or something like that is what you're sleeping. But when you hit the head,
you're in such hardcore sleep mode,
right? You wake up and you're all good. So, and then that was the idea, was that Leonardo did something similar like this, and so that's how he got all of his work done and all of his magnificent art and stuff like that.
Okay. For people that
wait, Leonardo was an artist, right? Yeah, okay.
Leonardo
I'm
da
an
Vinci,
idiot.
yeah.
Sorry.
Mona Lisa.
Who's the guy who did inventions? Is that a different Leonardo?
Leonardo da Vinci did inventions.
Okay,
too.
all right. He did
Are
inventions.
you thinking
as well.
of Michelangelo? 'Cause he
Maybe,
did
I don't know.
the
There's
Sistine
Leonardo,
Chapel.
Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, Shredder, Master
quite the
Splinter. There's like Amy Pond or whatever her name is, who is the girl.
Bro, I don't even know all four. Actually, now that
Oh,
you just
come on!
named them, dude, I was not a Ninja
Teenage
Turtle
Mutant
fan.
Ninja Turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo.
Dude,
no?
no.
Okay, all right. That's just me. Did
Yeah.
you watch any of the live action
No.
Ninja Turtles? Really?
No.
Those are honestly, the first one's actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah?
It really is. It's just a bunch of guys in giant turtle costumes, but it's très magnifique, if you ask me.
Sure.
Anyways,
For people that have to get up and work 10 or 12 hours a day.
Sure, of course. That's the idea, is that it's not necessarily healthy for just a regular 9 to 5 or whatever it is, because then it's like you're sleeping during work. But if you can accommodate your work schedule where it's like you are
Take
an
a
hourly
3-hour
worker,
break.
or something like that, or even just like you work the morning shift, then you leave, and then you go back for the night shift or something like that. It's definitely possible. But sleep is important. That's really, you're not getting sleep deprivation resistance. You're just entering this cycle, and so now your body's adjusting and adapting. So anytime it gets sleep, it's going to maximize and
Right.
utilize it. So. Sorry, I didn't mean to like totally steal
you're
that
cool.
question.
So for somebody that struggled with waking up on time and getting where they needed to go, and now turn that around because of good sleeping habits, I think I might have covered this before, but it starts with creating a habit. It takes 3 weeks for a person to develop a habit. And so it needs to start with you going to bed with no TV. You need to read every night. Put the phone down. Make sure you have multiple alarms ready to go so that you can get up.
Yeah, I've got like 7 alarms.
Mm-hmm. Don't sleep when you're hot, because your body will take longer to, or your body, you will not want to wake up easier, if that makes sense. Like when you go to sleep cold, or you're in a cool environment, you're more likely to just wake up because you don't want to be cold.
Sure.
Your body just naturally will move more. Trying to think. Drink a cup of water. Don't eat right before you go to bed. Don't stop eating at around 8 or 9 o'clock. That should be your dinner. That way you have, you wake up hungry. That's a great way to wake up.
Oh, yeah,
hungry.
for sure.
That way it gets you out of the bed. So turn off the TV. Read a book. No lights or anything. Get off your phone. All of that stuff. You need to start setting good sleeping habits, just like you need to set good habits for anything, and sleep is no exception.
One other thing that I think is really interesting and can help. A lot of phones today, they actually have a setting where after a certain time, they'll actually change the color scheme and actually dim the brightness itself. Like even if you're at the minimum, it'll actually go a little darker, or if you're at maximum, it'll be darker than the maximum. And so it's supposed to help your eyes adjust, because same thing with like if you're driving at night, what's more irritating if you're driving one way, so a road, one way is going both ways, there's one lane, right? I'm sorry, I'm totally butchering this scenario. So what's more irritating, a car with the traditional orangey yellow lights, or like one with bright blue lights? Bright blue lights. So sure, you'll be able to see more, and sure, you're more alert, and that's a lot safer. But it's because based on how our eyes adjust on as the day goes on, and how much light we're intaking, and where we're at. So if you're sitting in a dark room and you're staring at this super bright screen, that's not great for you. No. Whereas if you adjust it and you have this setting, I think they just call it like nighttime mode or something like that. Like after 7:00, as the day goes on, it'll adjust, and your eyes will then adjust. So I'm not saying like to advocate it so now you can stay up late watching movies and stuff like that on this adjusted phone, but it's just something additional to help that I think is really important.
Well, that's the thing about falling asleep with the TV on or with music on. Like your brain goes to sleep hearing stuff, and so when your alarm goes off in the morning, you're naturally not going to hear it, because
that's true.
You've programmed your brain to just take in sound always, and when your alarm goes off, it's just another sound.
That's true. Yeah. And I don't know, what I thought was really cool, actually, that you did. There's a couple nights where we were chilling, and in the morning, you had, I believe it was Gold on the Ceiling by the Black Keys playing, because it starts very soft, kind of mellow.
It's Little Black Key. Little Black Submarine.
Little Black Submarine. That's right. I'm sorry. So it starts off very like just the acoustic part, and it's very kind of quiet. And if you're just progressing, right. and then it builds,
explodes,
and then it builds up. And I really like that, because then it's like, either you're going to wake up when it starts playing and you're going to like kind of just enjoy yourself, and it's a way to get up and hype yourself in the morning, or you're going to hear it when it starts going into the big explosion of sound, and you're like, okay, now I'm up. So, because
I still wake up to that, by the way.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very difficult. I have to be picky about what songs, because sometimes I'll just sleep through it, and then sometimes I'll wake up and I'll hear it, and I'm like, oh, a song's playing. Okay. Oh, wait, this is the alarm I set. That's right. I have to be up. So because for the longest time I just had the alarm.
I have that too. So that's what I'm saying. I have 2 alarms.
Oh, okay.
That's what it takes for me to get up and wake up on time.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm an intense sleeper.
Sure.
And so I had to
find something else.
I had to do something in order to get my ass up for work.
It's definitely, if you can, the better you understand yourself and the better you know how you work, especially with staying up and what you're doing, and how far you can push your body before passing out, being able, and as like hippy dippy as it sounds, but kind of like just being at one with yourself and being able to say, you know what, I shouldn't have another drink, or I shouldn't do this other thing, or what, I probably should get home, I should probably turn this thing off, whatever. Listening to those signs, I think you can definitely have a better experience through the day, because totally, and I can attest to this a million times, if you're waking up rushed and you're waking up and you're like, scrambling for things,
worst,
and
dude.
Exactly, it sets a horrible mood for the rest of the day. Like for me, it's definitely like a personality shift, where it's like, I'm still catching up. I'm still 2 hours behind catching up because I was rushing in the morning. So like, I don't have time to talk to you, or I don't want to talk to you because I'm trying to catch up on my own stuff. So, but if you're prepared and you've said, you know what,
you've had your coffee
or whatever it is, that process that you go, that's perfect. And then you start the day off on the right foot instead of on the left, and boom, you're setting yourself up for a better day.
Right. I had one boss tell me, and this kind of stuck with me. I don't do it, but I had one boss tell me, you need to wake up 2 hours before you need to leave for work. That's how he did it. That's what I'm saying. I don't do that.
Sure.
I'll wake up an hour before I have to leave. I think in an hour I have plenty of time to get dressed, get a cup of coffee, brush my teeth, do whatever I need to do.
Right.
And then I can have that half an hour that I need to leave for work or whatever.
I agree.
But That was his thing. He would wake up 2 hours before, or maybe even 3. I think it was 3, because he would go to the gym, come back, cup of coffee, shower, dump, do all that stuff, just to be ready as mentally prepared as you possibly could be.
Oh, for sure. And I think there is a benefit to doing that, because then instead of showing up to work or showing up to whatever responsibility you have, as if you're already awake and you're not just waking up. And so the hour for us might be able to be a good time for us to kind of get our day started and everything like that. But, you know, those who show up 30 minutes and they do a jump in the shower for 5 minutes, then run out the door. Well, they're still waking up. They're still processing everything. So I get that mentality of wake up a couple hours before so you have time to like, for sure. Cause I mean, if you're working early in the morning, then it's like you're waking up even earlier and then you have to go to bed, and then who wants to go to bed?
Getting up at 4:30. I'm not fucking doing
that. No, that's, I understand that. It's also, for me, I really like just being awake, laying in my bed. I don't know if this is getting too into it, but like for me, the best part of waking up is being able to wake up and then just lay down there for still like 10, 15 minutes, check emails, do whatever, kind of just like, all right, I'm awake. This is realistically, it's just, this is the time for myself. Before I have to put myself out in the world, talk to people, work, get things done, responsibilities, friends, whatever it is. You know, I think that's important. Same thing as you were saying is like getting in the habits and preparing, you know, getting ready for bed. That's one thing I don't think I've done in a really long time. It's just like, cause I'll just fall asleep. I'll do what I need to do what I need to do. Oh, it's 12 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. Let's just go to bed, jump in bed, done. I know a lot of people who have their kind of processes where it's they brush their teeth, they do their thing, they read for a little bit. You do exactly like, They say, okay, the time is over. Let's actually prepare. And I think same thing at night and in the morning, having these rituals and being able to like, okay, checklists or need to get done. And then you can kind of just take a deep breath and say, I'm good. I think that's very important as well. So
everyone in my family meditates in the morning.
Oh, really?
Except for my little brother and I. But they take 5 to 10 minutes and they just sit down and they just breathe.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And that helps them a lot. I don't do it because
you're too cool for that?
No, because the thoughts in my head are so terrifying that
I
can't just sit there and just...
There's just a giant demon hovering over you, and then as soon as you close your eyes, you're like, hey, Blake, how you doing?
Pretty much. Hey, do you remember that embarrassing moment that happened in the 3rd grade? And I just have to shake it off like, no. Let's just go.
Rocking out to something else that's not my pain. All right, so we'll one last question. I think my mother is hiding something from me. Before I say anything, I know that my mom is quite emotionally strong and hardly tells us anything about her conditions whatsoever. And whenever she's abroad for work or other purposes, she never says, I miss you or love you at all. We don't have our dad. Anyways, that was kind of an incomplete sentence. Anyways, how many times am I going to say that? So she went to Bangkok for treatment last week. Today, all of a sudden, she's telling me via WhatsApp that she misses us while sobbing a little. Also, whenever I asked how the report is, she said everything is all right. Insert word that is Muslim mantra. Whenever you hear great news, I don't want to butcher the word.
What's the word?
It's like mid paragraph. Something Amalagababa. I don't know. I'm so bad.
Sure.
Thank you, Blake.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, there you go. Now, part of me is saying that there might be something wrong with her for the medical report. However, I want to check her. I want to check her report, which she won't hand it over easily or willingly. Now, what should I do here? Should I respect her privacy, or should I go point blank ask her to hand it over so I can get closure? What do I do?
She's a grown woman.
But I mean, I think
privacy. Some people deal with their own problems in a different way. You need to be respectful to that.
Be respectful, but I also think it's totally justified to express how you're feeling. So if you're saying,
you can
"Hey,
express how you're feeling," but
mom,"
to the point where I asked my own mom, "Hey, hand over your medical report so I can look at them," I would not be surprised if my mom would slap me.
Okay. Don't say it directly like that, but I think you can say, hey, is there any way that I can look at your medical reports because I'm worried about you or something, blah, blah, blah. And then if she says no, then just say why. And then she says no, and then just say why. And then she says no, and then just say why. And she just says no, and then you say why.
And then
she says no, and then you say why. And then she says no, and then you say why. And then she says
I'm dying, and you say why.
And she's like, because of you. And you say why, and she's like, I was a mistake, and then she says why, and then, well, I got drunk one night, and then she says why, and then And then just you kind of
Gets so weird and abstract.
yeah,
And
and then all of a sudden you're just asking why. And then she's saying why, and then you're saying why, and then she's also saying why to your why about
Good
her
Lord.
why. And then you just end up with a bunch of yes sounds. But thank you everybody. I'm here all night.
No, respect her privacy. If you want to show off or
What if it's your wife?
If it's my wife, then I have almost, if you want to look at it from an analytical standpoint, I have a financial responsibility to look at
Oh,
those.
that's true.
medical-
Yeah, that's true.
But it's not my wife. It's my mom,
Mm-hmm.
who is a grown ass woman that knows how to take care of herself. If she truly needed something, I will be there. I can express, hey, Mom, I'm worried about you. I don't want to look at your medical reports.
Mhm.
That's not something I want to do.
But you
But
got to let me know what's up.
you need to keep us in the loop. You're my mom.
Sure. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I that's reasonable. I think before going into the situation, if you've openly expressed how much, hey, if you need to go to Bangkok for whatever medical reasons, I would hope that before that you express that this is important that you come back healthy. And I'm sure she understands that. I'm sure your mom doesn't want to come back sick. So, I don't know. It is touchy, I guess, and I've said it a million times and I'll say it a million more times. I'm an open book. So, I think the whole, I get bad news, I'm definitely going to tell a lot of people. So that privacy, I guess, doesn't necessarily ring super true with me because, I mean, I'll tell you if something's wrong. I'm not going to hide it, and I'll try and pry stuff out of you, Blake, all the time. So,
Good luck.
thank you. I appreciate it. So, I don't know. You're right. I guess we can't judge their family dynamic, and who knows? And she could have maybe spilled the beans about something, and then it totally blew up in her face, and now she's never going to spill the beans about anything. So, there's a lot of things that could be outside, but short and sweet. Just be upfront, honest, and just say, "Hey, look, this is how I'm feeling." Don't view it as me attacking you, but view it as me wanting to help. Yeah, there you go. So, anything else? I'm just gonna look for like a quick one.
Okay.
Here, actually, I'm gonna scroll, and then I'm gonna select one, and then if it's really long, I'll condense it as much as I can. So we're scrolling.
Stop.
All right. Getting a cat in college. Oh God. Okay. Get a cat. Go for it. I don't know, man. I have a cat. It's okay as long as you don't have two cats. It's fine. Let's try that again.
Keep going and stop.
Oh gosh. Okay. Here we go.
That one looks super long.
Let's just okay, so just he was having relations with his girlfriend, got caught by his brother. What should he do?
Got caught by his brother?
I guess the brother walked in of him
On
having
him with
relations
another
with
girl?
his girlfriend. Yeah.
Wait, whoa, what, the brother's girlfriend?
No. Okay, so boy one and girl one are a couple. Boy two is the brother of boy one. Boy one and girl two are doing things together. Boy two walks in and he's like, brother, and then I don't know if he does it like that. So how do you handle that situation? How do you handle Trent walking in on you and Brittany?
It's never happened before, so I
What
don't-
happens if it does happen?
He's 15. He knows.
Sure. What if you're... Okay, never mind. I'm not going to ask that question.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay. We'll do that off podcast.
Fine.
Anyways, wow, that was a horrible last two questions. But sorry about that, everybody. Appreciate you guys sticking it to the end. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you think we were wrong in any of our opinions or ideas, definitely scribble that stuff down and let me respond to it.
Be as rude as possible. to
Definitely,
me.
please be as open and rude as possible if you can. Other than that, I really do appreciate that, and I know that the video cut out because I'm not prepared with life, and I definitely just kind of flow along the river of things. So just for my justification at the very end, where we have minimal listeners at this point, yeah. So thank you guys so much again, and I guess I'll see you next week on another fantastic episode that'll definitely be a lot more structured and better. So have a great day or night or whenever you're listening to this podcast.